Before we begin the story, don't forget to like and subscribe to support our channel. Hospitals at night are never truly quiet. They breathe. The walls hum with the low drone of machines. Vents rattle with recycled air. And somewhere, always somewhere, a monitor lets out a faint electronic beep that seems louder in the silence than it ever does in the day. To the sick, that sound is reassurance. To the dying, it is a ticking clock. St. Mercy's Hospital, an old building crouched on the edge of a fading city, was especially alive after sundown. Its pale green hallways stretched on like veins, its yellowed lights flickering now and then, as if straining against the weight of decades. And if you listened carefully, just carefully enough, you could hear another sound, faint but steady, the scrape of a mop, the whisper of rubber-soled shoes sliding on tile, the muttering of an old woman talking to herself in the dark. Her name was Miss Agatha. Everyone called her the janitor. She was small and bent, her gray hair tied back in a messy bun, her uniform stained with bleach that never quite erased the darker blotches beneath. Her cart squeaked as she pushed it, always smelling faintly of pine disinfectant mixed with something heavier, coppery, like pennies soaking in vinegar. Patients swore they saw her at all hours, cleaning a spill at midnight, pushing her cart at dawn, humming old nursery rhymes in the morgue basement where no one liked to linger. And sometimes, when the nurses gathered in the break room, she would shuffle in with a covered tray. "Made you all something special," she would croak, with a grin that revealed too many dark spaces between her teeth. And the nurses would unwrap foil to find little pies, meat-filled dumplings, hand-rolled sausages. She always insisted, "Eat. Keep your strength up. Lord knows this place takes it out of you." They ate. They always ate. And no one ever asked what was inside. The first whispers started when a man in room 312 was simply gone. He'd been admitted for pneumonia, frail and coughing, tethered to oxygen. The night nurse swore she'd checked on him at 2 a.m. His chart was still at the foot of the bed, his IV dripping steadily, but when the morning shift came, the bed was stripped, empty. The sheets were fresh. The room smelled faintly of lemon cleaner. Miss Agatha's mop was leaning against the corner. "Must have been transferred," said one nurse, though no paperwork was filed. "Discharged early," another muttered, though no family came to collect him. The doctors shrugged. Patients moved all the time, but the orderlies noticed. They always noticed. One by one, patients on the edge, weak, unconscious, or alone, were simply gone by morning. Their belongings were packed into neat little bags, stacked by the nurse's station with tags written in Miss Agatha's shaky scrawl. When the new nurse Clara asked about it, an older one just laughed nervously. Transfers. Always transfers. Best not to dig too deep here. Clara couldn't shake it, because every time a patient vanished, Miss Agatha appeared the next day with another tray of food. Clara worked nights. It paid better, but but it also meant long hours under buzzing fluorescent lights, caring for patients who barely stirred, their rooms heavy with disinfectant and despair. That was when she began to notice the smell. It wasn't bleach. It wasn't ammonia. It wasn't anything listed on the bottles rattling around in Miss Agatha's cart. It was heavier, metallic, like meat left too long in the sun. Sometimes, when Clara passed the supply closet, she heard muttering. Agatha's voice, low and wet, whispering lullabies. The handle would rattle, then fall silent. Clara swore she saw something dark dripping from the crack beneath the door. But when she bent down, it was gone. Miss Agatha? She asked once, knocking. The muttering stopped. A moment of silence stretched too long. Then the door cracked open. The old woman's eyes gleamed in the fluorescent light. "Don't you worry, sweetheart," she whispered, patting Clara's arm with a damp, cold hand. "I'm just cleaning up the messes no one else wants to." 4. Treats in the break room. The night after a woman in hospice disappeared, Agatha came into the break room with something new. A casserole, steaming, rich with gravy. "Eat," she urged. "Keep yourself strong." Clara hesitated. The nurses didn't. Forks dug in. Laughter rose. Stress melted away. "Best meal I've had all week," one nurse said through a mouthful. Clara pushed her plate away. The smell was wrong. Too rich. Too thick. Agatha's eyes lingered on her. "You'll eat when you're ready," she said softly. Everybody does. It was near dawn when Clara found the basement door ajar. She wasn't supposed to go down there. The morgue was kept locked at night. But something about the faint sound of humming drew her in. She crept down concrete steps that smelled of mold and formaldehyde. The air was thick and wet. The humming grew louder. And then Clara saw it. Miss Agatha, hunched over a table, a scalpel glinting in her hand. Something lay stretched out before her, pale and still. The old woman's voice wavered in song as her knife pressed into the flesh, peeling back skin with practiced ease. Clara's stomach lurched. It was the missing man from room 312. Agatha didn't look up as she carved. "You hush now," she whispered to the body. "Can't waste what the Lord provides. These doctors, these nurses, they work so hard. Gotta keep them fed. Gotta keep them strong." Clara staggered back, a hand over her mouth, her scream choking in her throat. And then, without looking, Agatha spoke. "You shouldn't be here, child." Clara ran. She told the head nurse. She told the doctors. She told anyone who would listen. They only stared at her. One doctor, a man with tired eyes and bloodshot veins in his temples, placed a hand on her shoulder. "You saw," he said flatly. "I suppose it was bound to happen sooner or later." What do you mean?" Clara stammered. "You think we don't know?" His lips curled in something between a smile and a grimace. "Who do you think told her to start?" The room spun around Clara. She's killing them. They were already dying," the doctor interrupted. His voice was calm, almost soothing. "She makes use of what's left. Keeps us alive. Keeps us strong enough to keep them alive. For a little while longer. A fair trade, wouldn't you say?" Clara's voice cracked. "You're all eating them." The nurse beside him set down her fork, licking gravy from her lips. Only when she cooks, she whispered. Clara tried to leave. She tried to run. But every door she reached was locked, sealed, guarded by smiling orderlies who quietly shook their heads. You'll get used to it, they told her. Everyone does. By the time she staggered back to the break room, Miss Agatha was waiting with another tray. Sit, the old woman said softly, setting down a plate in front of her. The meat glistened, pink and tender, swimming in thick, dark sauce. Clara shook her head, tears streaking her face. The room fell silent. Every eye, doctor, nurse, orderly, turned to her. Miss Agatha leaned close, her breath hot against Clara's ear. You don't have to eat tonight, she whispered. But you will. Oh, you will. Everyone does. Clara stared down at the plate, the smell filling her lungs, clinging to her skin, coating her throat until she gagged. The lights flickered once, twice. When they steadied, her fork was already in her hand. Outside, dawn broke over St. Mercy's, painting the windows gold. Inside, in the break room, the staff laughed and ate, their voices echoing down the halls like hymns. At the center of the table, Miss Agatha smiled, her hands folded neatly in her lap. And at the bottom of the tray, beneath layers of foil, lay a single pale hand. The fingers curled, as if reaching for something just beyond the edge of the table. No one noticed. No one ever did.